name is Kazuki, and I work in a convenience store in Tokyo. After my late-night shift, the quiet streets felt eerier than usual. Flickering streetlights cast long shadows, creating an unsettling atmosphere. I pulled my jacket tighter, quickening my pace. That's when I first saw her. A woman stood under a streetlight, her long black hair hiding her face. She wore a beige trench coat and a surgical mask. Not uncommon in Tokyo, but her stillness made me feel cold inside. As I got closer, she slowly lifted her head, showing dark eyes that seemed to look right through me.
"Am I pretty?"
she asked, her voice soft yet haunting. My breath hitched. The childhood story surged back. Kuchisake-onna, a slit-mouthed woman who stalks lone travelers at night. "Yes," I managed to say, looking away. "You're very pretty." A low chuckle escaped her lips.
"Even like this."
To my horror, she pulled down her mask, showing a mouth that was cut from ear to ear, with blood dripping from her big grin. I stumbled back, shocked. There she was, scissors in her hand, coming closer. "Wait," I shouted, remembering the stories. "You're average," I said. She paused and tilted her head. That was my chance. I turned and ran, my feet pounding the pavement, the sound of my fear echoing in the quiet street. I rounded a corner and ducked into a narrow alley. Gasping, I pressed myself against the wall, straining to hear any sign of pursuit. My heart thundered in my chest. Then, right beside my ear, a soft voice whispered,
"Found you."
I jumped back, scared. She was there, grinning in a creepy way. "Please," I said, "I don't want to die." She tilted her head, her scissors shining in the low light.
"Who said anything about dying? I just want to make you beautiful like me."
I closed my eyes, bracing for the pain of cold metal slicing into my flesh. But it never came. When I dared to look again, she was gone. Shaking, I stumbled out of the alley and ran home. I locked the door 3 times and I fell onto my futon, feeling tired and scared. Sleep wouldn't come as I kept thinking about what had happened. The next morning, I tried to convince myself it was just a nightmare brought on by too many late nights and ghost stories. But as I got ready for work, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. It's a single strand of long black hair clinging to my jacket. For weeks, I jumped at every shadow, avoiding going out alone at night. My coworkers noticed my jumpiness, but I couldn't tell them what happened. Who would believe me? Life went back to normal, but doubts lingered. Maybe it had just been a nightmare. 2 months later, while closing the store, I saw her again outside. She stood there in her surgical mask, staring at me, and we shared a moment of recognition. She slowly raised a finger to her lips in a shushing motion and walked away into the night. The next day, I quit my job and moved to another part of the city, hoping to escape the nightmare. Still, I felt that she was out there, watching and waiting. Every masked woman on the street seemed like a threat, and every pair of scissors felt like a weapon that could change my life forever. Years went by, but the memory stayed strong. I researched the legend and talked to others who claimed to have seen her. She was once a beautiful woman who, according to the legend, was married to a jealous and cruel man. Her husband suspected her of being unfaithful, or he was simply angry about her beauty. In his rage, he slashed her face from ear to ear, leaving her horribly disfigured. As he cut her, he asked, "Who will think you're beautiful now?" After being violently attacked and disfigured, she died and returned as a ghost. She now roams the streets, asking people if they think she is beautiful, reflecting the pain and betrayal she suffered in life. Months later, curious and nervous, I joined friends for drinks near where I first encountered her. Laughter filled the room, but talk of masked figures and ghost stories made my heart race. Suddenly, the door creaked open, revealing a woman in a trench coat with her face hidden by hair and a mask. Panic overwhelmed me, while my friends remained unaware, still laughing. As I stared at the quiet figure standing by the door, I couldn't look away. "Who are you?" one friend joked, but there was no response. The woman lifted her head slightly, revealing those haunting dark eyes.
"Am I pretty?"
Time froze. Memories flooded back. "Run," I shouted, dashing past my friends into the hallway.
"Hey, wait!"
One friend called, chasing after me. I glanced back to see her smiling wider than ever before. In that moment, everything became clear. The stories and the fear were about survival, not just beauty. "No, you're not pretty," I shouted, and to my surprise, she vanished. My friend caught up, asking what happened, and I felt a rush of victory. I vowed never to let fear control my life again. As time passed, the legend faded, but I still heard whispers of "Am I pretty?" Instead of feeling afraid, I smiled, knowing I had power over those words. Walking through Tokyo felt less daunting. I had faced my fear and grown stronger. The woman in the trench coat became a reminder that confronting fears could change the story, and I wouldn't let darkness define me.